Howdy folks, my name's Casey and right behind me is Tuk Lake, or what used to be Tuk Lake. Each year in the dry season, the past couple years, I've watched as the water level was less and less and less, and this year we're in a 25-year drought, and now Tuk Lake is almost gone. There's only a couple puddles scattered around where it used to be. So I wanted to make this video and just document its current level conditions in case future years it's even less, which I couldn't imagine. And when it springs back, I want to be able to showcase that to you. But yeah, used to be able to kayak and boat. We used to have pontoon boats out here and all kinds of stuff. Fishing was good, and now it's almost all dried up. A super El Nino is forming in the Pacific, the biggest since the 1870s. And the effects of which have already put us in the worst drought in 25 years. But just like this man's enclosed ecosystem that he's had for 60 years, the Earth is very similar. If it's dry in one area, the water's got to go somewhere else. So here you can see that although Florida is in the worst drought in 25 years, California is drought-free for the first time in 25 years. So what we're left with is a dry eastern seaboard with low hurricane predictions and low rain for 2026. With all that said, let's get back to documenting Tuk Lake at its lowest level in 2026 and comparing it to its normal levels. As I'm doing these flyovers, you can look and see the natural shoreline and how much the water has receded and evaporated. There's hardly anything left of Tuk Lake besides these shallow pools, and each one of these pools is no more than a foot to 2 feet deep. It's both sad and impressive to think how many gallons of water have evaporated out of this lake. The water levels in the pools that are remaining are several feet down from where the water levels normally are. Even at full water levels, Tuk Lake is a shallow lake at about 6 feet to 8 feet at its deepest points. I know that because I've walked through and swam through pretty much the entirety of this lake at low levels and high levels. But even these areas of white sand normally have a couple feet of water on top of them. I was able to get a hold of some pretty good pictures taken from somebody else in the park, and I was able to fly my drone and try and get similar shots. So you'll be able to see the comparative water levels between what's normal, and these pictures were taken in 2019, I believe, and this is how the lake normally looks, and then comparatively, how low it is now in pictures taken in the same area. Really impressive to see when you're comparing side by side like that. One nice thing about doing this video is I'm able to see from the aerial view where all the deep holes are. So when the water does come back and I'm able to fish this again, I'm going to know exactly where to go and where to avoid. With the water level being down and there only being a few remaining pools of water, all of the fish and the turtles and the alligators are condensed thickly into these locations. And they are not hard to find. A simple flyover with the drone at lower levels and be able to spot them. This one right here is about an 8-foot alligator, and there's another known one that's a little bit shorter, about 6 foot, and another pool. And if you come out at the right time of day, you can see them sunning themselves on the shorelines. And other wild animals you might see while you're out flying your drone is my dad in a golf cart. So had to fly down and say hi to him real quick. Well, I think that'll just about cover the flyovers. I did want to check this pool of water out. The 6-foot alligator was in here earlier this day, and I thought I'd be able to see it, and it must have just been either on the bottom in the muck where I couldn't catch it, or it was in another pool of water when I was doing my flyover. But you can see all the tire tracks that run through there. The people with the four-wheelers and the quads and the side-by-sides, they come out here on the weekends and kind of tear everything up. So the wildlife is pretty quick to move, I guess. But it still is hard for me to grasp how much water is gone out of here. I've kayaked and sailed and been in power boats on this lake, and now there's just no water. It's just absolutely crazy. But if there's no water here, the water has moved somewhere else on the planet, and it will eventually come back. And to show how drastic the water can change year to year, I'm attaching the video I did last year that shows the low levels of 2024 and the high levels of 2025. So enjoy. Anybody singing old sea shanty while I kiss the girl who stole my fancy? Tell her I'll be coming home again. This clip from last year's video is just the length of this song, but it shows the different water levels, and you'll see that although 2024 wasn't as low as this year's low, it's kind of similar. And the water levels were able to bounce back completely, although it just didn't last very long. The water levels started to recede again shortly after making this video. Tuk Lake has been around for a long time. Back when Centralia was here, the logging town, and it was one of the biggest cities in Florida briefly. And the railroad tracks ran right by Tooke Lake. And with the water levels being low, you can walk around and find old Busch beer cans, the Bavarian beer, they're still laying around out there. And I just found a glass bottle from the 1930s from Indianapolis Brewing Company, which was pretty cool. So, the water levels being down is not great, but, there's still exploring to do and just find some old remnants of the past people that have been here.
sea shanty while I kiss the girl who stole my fancy. Tell her I'll be coming home again. Baby, when I'm out.
Based off of this shot right here, I'm gonna guess that the water levels, the low from 2024, are probably 1.5 to 2 foot higher than they are this year at this year's low. But it can all come back. I'm not worried.
Anybody singing old sea shanty while I kiss the girl who stole my fancy. Tell her I'll be coming home again. 'Cause maybe when I'm out to sea, she'll meet a fellow better than me.
It's believed there's 2 springs that feed Tuk Lake. One of them is under this little pond right here, and the other one is on the back side of the lake.
When our captain makes amends, he's a company man who knows when his debts are due.
Yeah, when the water was low in 24, the lake was split into 2 main sections, and this year it's broken up into like 5 little ponds. So there's quite the difference.
Come in view. So anybody singing old sea shanty while I kiss the girl who stole my fancy. Tell her I'll be coming home again. 'Cause maybe when I'm out to sea, she'll meet a fellow richer than me. Tell her I'll be coming home again. I've been heading out to sea with the W Harris Company.
All right, well, we're back in 2026. That was a fun walk down memory lane. So one last look at the drought conditions we are in. Thanks for watching, and pray for rain.